Steve Kerr underwent a spinal cord leak procedure to treat his ongoing chronic pain that he has in his back. It's sidelined him for a good part of this postseason so far, and it looks like he's going to be out for a little bit longer. Here's an update from Golden State's GM, Bob Myers.
He was at Duke. He had a procedure done Friday, and it's hard to answer some of this because even the doctors aren't entirely sure of recovery time, and that's why we've been a little bit indefinite about everything. We don't know. But the procedure went well as far as we know, and now it's a case of how it takes and when he might or might not be back. And the good news is it's on the path to recovery, but I wish I could be more definitive. I wish I could be for him more than our team. Just if I knew an answer to any of these questions, I'd be thrilled for him as a person, but I don't know. He doesn't know, and it's difficult. It's difficult for you guys to wonder. It's the hardest, obviously, for Steve.
All right, so sound those alarms. The Warriors seem to be cruising without Steve Kerr. You saw the man to his left. That's Mike Brown of 120 Sports fame. And they're 7-0 this postseason. Obviously, they haven't lost a game with or without Steve Kerr in this postseason. Is it an overreaction to say that Steve Kerr should just make it official and step aside for the entire postseason?
That's an overreaction. If Steve Kerr can come back, the Warriors would welcome him back.
No doubt.
He is the head coach of this team. He is the guy that makes the tough decisions in terms of the rotations and trying to get his guys to play at maximum potential. Yes, Mike Brown has done a fantastic job in the absence of a Steve Kerr, and the Warriors continue to roll, as you mentioned, 7-0. But the players, they would want to have Steve Kerr on the bench. It's a comfort level in terms of that voice of your head coach. Now, the guys really, we've heard Draymond Green say they're preparing as if Steve Kerr will not come back. So they have the right mental attitude. They know how to handle the situation. So Steve Kerr doesn't have to just slam the door and say, you know what, I'm not coming back. I think that would be unfair to Steve Kerr to not give him a chance to come back, even if it is in the NBA Finals. Even if he can't make it back for this second round series, which it looks like the Warriors might sweep. Even if he can't come back for the Western Conference Finals, to have him back for the NBA Finals, I think would inspire his guys. I'm sure he's fighting to get back. At the end of the day, you want him to have solid health. I mean, it's just been a real painful, really 18 months ever since he had the back surgery. They said he's been having migraines and he's had nausea. It's just been a tough time. But I believe, you know, he recently had this other surgery on Friday. I think Steve Kerr will come back before these playoffs are over, even if it's not until the NBA Finals. So I certainly think that's an overreaction to say, you know what? I'm not coming back. This is a championship team, so Steve Kerr would like to be there if at all possible.
If they win it without him and they win it going away, let's just say hypothetically they do a Moses Malone, faux-fa-faux, they lose one game the rest of the way. Does it diminish anything that Steve Kerr has done?
Not really, because remember when he missed 43 games last year,
Luke Walton,
he balled out. I mean, Luke Walton did a great job and
got him a head
parlayed
coaching
that
gig
into a head coaching job with the LA Lakers. I think Luke might have been 39-4. I mean, he was fantastic.
He didn't have that same record with the Lakers.
No, not exactly. Didn't have that same talent either. So this is just a great team. I mean, I think you and I could coach that team.
And that's what I wonder. Like, if people are going to go, well, you don't want to take away what Steve Kerr's done.
For sure.
They do play better defense. Statistically, their defense has been much better with Steve Kerr as a head coach than it was with Mark Jackson previous. But then Mike Brown comes in, and he's a defensive-minded coach, and it just seems like you keep rolling it out. So it's almost like the chicken and the egg. What comes first? Is it the players? Is it the coaching?
Right.
I guess there's enough credit to go around for everybody.
Yeah, and the thing is, in this postseason, we still haven't really seen the Warriors be tested, so to speak. At least not under Mike Brown. So when the game is on the line and Brown has to make some tough calls down the stretch, has to draw up some plays, you know, when he's the head coach or interim head coach at this point, he has to make tough decisions. We don't know how things would go in that instance. But Steve Kerr certainly is the head coach. His job is not in jeopardy.
No.
Even if they win the title. If they go on and win the NBA championship and beat the Cleveland Cavaliers without Steve Kerr, he still will be welcomed back next year when he's healthy.
Absolutely.